At least full girls were buried beneath the grass in my garden.
Okay, paragraph number 1 reads.
The wealthiest place on the planet is just down the road. It is the cemetery. There lie buried companies that were never started, inventions that were never made, best-selling books that were never written, and masterpieces that were never painted.
You see, not because the grass is green always means that the pasture is healthy. Sometimes it was just how the weeds settled onto the space. Other times they were just staged. I still dreamed about them from time to time, like a memory that could not be erased. Like a haunting that screamed incessantly in my silence. Like a tight knot in my throat that suffocated me in my sleep. They come to me in mid-sentence pauses. They come for me on my way back home each night. You could call it bravery that I thought of unearthing them, or you could view it as insanity to disturb a perfectly still landscape. Do you smell the stench? The first girl looked like a portrait of tradition. She may have been long stuck from beneath, but her wedding dress sparked innocence no less. From whatever was readable of her expressions, she seemed rather calm and nurturing. The kind that didn't raise her tone, the kind that put up with disrespect, the kind who lived for the ideals. I thought she was someone's wife. She was the girl who wanted to live in a modest house, one with huge glass windows that invited the morning sun. She was the type to wait by the garden hammock, reading a book, surrounded by flowers, waiting for the clock to hit 5 p.m. when her beloved husband would come home. But even at 6 p.m. that evening, no traces of him showed up. She sat still, hopeful in the eyes, until she froze in time.
Thank you.
Was it the weight that made her vanish? Or was it her choice to wait for a man that did not exist that did? I could not quite place it. The second girl looked far more detached than the first. She wore innocent clothing. She often wouldn't prefer to show much skin. She wore a cardigan on top of her outerwear. In fact, people often asked her, in wonder, if she ever felt stuffy wearing such in this weather. Her head was sunk deep in the mug, but whatever she did to fossilize the crust in her eyes, she did perfectly. Her face may be blurry at this point, but her sorrow wasn't. She looked like an impersonation of sadness that breathed through the piece of paper she held with one hand, punctuated by the quill pen that she clasped on the other. She was a language major, and she cataloged her thoughts so vividly you could get lost in them. She wrote her emotions down in absolute poesy, as if battle armors worn by some ancient knights. She used her journals as a sanctuary against a world that had become increasingly mean, increasingly hostile. She looked deep inside herself, creating inspiration out of her despair, hoping to be saved. She waded through her desperate musings, hoping that the man she truly cared for would return her affection, but didn't. Under the everlasting rain cloud that poured right above her head, her potential washed away until there was none developed. Did her tragedy spring from her unreturned affection? Or did she waste away for she forgot to choose herself? No one could tell.
And action!
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. My body only moves for the beat. Y'all been waiting for me. When I hear it coming up like that.
The third girl was the total opposite. She wasn't sad or passively waiting. She was hungry to be recognized. Her eyes lit bright and red, not of rage, but of determination. She knew there was so much more she could be in this world. She knew she could occupy space and be her own. And that space happened to be in a place filled with applause and grandeur. She was a darling of the camera. She lived in the spotlight and walked between spectators. Her feet might bleed, but walking heels and tall boots was her second nature. Her confidence was marked by tailored fabrics and sequin designs, of attention and things that shone. She skipped meals to her desired waistline, and fought her way blazingly for hours at auditions just to get exposure. She stood tall and confident before the crowd, but their love for her was shadowed by unsustainable measurements. And to some extent, objectification. Was it because she pinned her identity on the pedestal of external validation? Or was it because she chose to live by the standards set by others over her own? You are free to speculate.
We are newbies. Can anyone help?
Why can't you just buy your own lunch? Why do you feel the need to do that?
As to the fourth girl, she picked up a career in the corporate and dropped everything else. She loved art, colors, and self-expressions, but she buried them deep underground in favor of the business wear, of muted tones, of measured reactions. She conditioned her voice to be firm but warm, her gaze empathetic but borderlined, her reasoning human but structured towards a goal. She gave up her youth in artistry in the name of a steady paycheck. She traded her time for a role that commanded respect. She journeyed in severe traffic, inclement weather, quakes or even holidays, tired yet equally passionate. She presented herself in long sleeves and ribbon ties, blazers and tweeds. She put in hours to months to years, forgetting that the hard-working employee was an employee still.
Charge the defibrillator to 200 joules immediately. Clear the bed. Everyone stay back. Shock you in 3.
When her job disappeared, it carried her with it, her sense of self-worth and achievements, identity and merits, all gone in a blink of a second. I would wake up in the wee hours with the faces haunting me. It seemed a lot harder to just sleep them off in your 30s. And I wondered, will I be mine should any of them actually lived? There are many ways for one to perish. Not because you moved means you're truly alive. We sometimes cut off limbs to make the rest of us survive. Only we pay the price. There could be more bones deep beneath my garden lawn. And perhaps this newfound unemployment was a chance for me to revisit them. But for now, about 4 girls locked their gazes on me, fresh from the grave of unfulfilled dreams, and they all carried faces that looked like me.